Ladies and gentlemen, this is Scott Pollack from the anchor desk of the Critical Post Chicago, coming to you live or almost live from the capital of the Midwest Coast, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Welcome to another edition of the Goldwater Report. Thanks again for tuning us in, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate. Welcome back to the only anchor desk in the country not enforcing the blackout on the assassination of the President of the United States on November 22nd, 1963, former President and the late John F. Kennedy. I've said in the past, nothing in this country has been legit since that day in time. And now today we hear that there's a new word out there amongst the news broadcaster, and they say regime. They're using the word regime to describe the Biden presidency. Well, I've got news for all of those so-called conservative broadcasters. We've been under a regime since before you were born, most of you. And they just don't get it. They just don't get it, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a cognitive dissonance. I have to say that amongst all the broadcasting that I am watching everywhere that you're watching, and I watch all of the alternative channels. I see a lot of alternative broadcasting, quote-unquote, alternative broadcasting. And I watch the mainstream channels or the corporate channels or the propaganda channels, whatever you want to call these things. And my opinion of it all is none of it, not one broadcast. To include now, we have Newsmax, we have Real America's Voice, where that buffoon Steve Bannon is on, and Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS and ABC. I watch all of it just to see just to track what the heck is going on and what kind of lies they're telling us. And to get back to the original point of this segment, none of it is fit for purpose. None of it is ready for prime time. None of it. Now, I broadcast from this studio, which is outside of Chicago, but I call myself from Chicago because the whole area is Chicago. Doesn't matter if you're in a suburb of Chicago. The Chicago broadcasting community calls it Chicagoland. But now we have this continued presence of casting Chicago in a negative light in the corporate channels, whether that be on Fox, because of the individuals that have the most visibility, and lately that is the mayor of this city, and her name is Lori Lightfoot. And everybody knows it, and everybody sees this woman's image on television, and she is an embarrassment And I can tell you personally, she is an embarrassment. She is not fit for purpose. She is not, she shouldn't be given 1 ounce of airtime or 1 ounce of consideration at all. And that casts a pall on our city, or my city, where I come from. And I'm absolutely beside myself with all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the capital of the Midwest Coast. This isn't the Windy City. It's not the second city. It is not Al Capone's city. The world's grain prices at 6 a.m. every morning is determined here. Your food prices, or most of the food you eat, is determined here at the Chicago Board of Trade. We have the Chicago Stock Exchange, or the American Stock Exchange. We have the Chicago Board Options Exchange. Options prices are determined here. We have the Mercantile Exchange. And the condescension that we experience from New York and LA and their garbage is absolutely, it just really makes me mad. Ladies and gentlemen, none of it's ready for prime time. What you're watching is garbage. I don't care who you're watching. The cognitive dissonance in the content is appallingly bad. And that includes all your alternative channels. These people aren't professionals at what they're doing, but they are posing as professionals. Now that's enough of that rant. Recently, I tried to post something to YouTube and sent it out to my email listserv. There's about 145 people on the email listserv. And it got quickly taken off the air. I don't agree with Susan Wojcicki's policies. Obviously, and it's not news to anybody at this point in time, that everybody in big tech wants to get political. They've politicized their platforms. They have made it very clear where their politics are. And so what? So what? Now, in order to correct that, what I'm going to do is open up a new interface over at bittersweetrecords.net. That is the website that Worldwide TMA owns. Worldwide TMA is a holding company that underneath which bittersweetrecords.net fits. Also, under which this fits, which is a Bittersweet Records media product. Okay? Now, what I can tell you is that because they did that, they forced me to look for alternatives about how I'm going to broadcast that content. The broadcasts contain an interview by somebody who is the only platform that this man appears on, an interview of Steve Pieczenik. And what we learned from Steve Pieczenik is, in that particular broadcast, is that there are approximately, and the only thing that I found noteworthy was approximately 3,000 individuals. He says there's 3,000 individuals working on this so-called, what he called, a political lavage, which is a fancy way of saying the way that they're draining the swamp, quote unquote. That's the drain the swamp, the whole drain the swamp narrative balled into one sentence. They say they're draining the swamp, but it takes time. Then on another broadcast platform that had been totally deleted by YouTube, and I happen to be a fan of the individual, Carrie Cassidy. I don't mind saying her name on the air. She did an interview with Austin Steinbart, who is the only way I could describe the individual is he seems to be a pretty clean-cut kid that is part of Steve Pacinick's operation, because he was saying things in Carrie's interview that sounded like it was dovetailing. What he was doing was dovetailing in with the QAnon thing, was dovetailing into what Steve Pacinick says he's doing, or what they are doing, and what he is being the spokesman for. So that was taken off the air because it was strictly a one-off copy, exactly as it appeared. I don't know that I probably will upload that broadcast. I'm going to use a different platform, and the only way you'll be able to see broadcasts that I know is going to be banned by Susan Wojcicki's crew, who is the CEO of YouTube. When I know that broadcast content will not be allowed on YouTube, I will upload it to a different server base, and I will put it at bittersweetrecords.net, and you'll be able to see it there. And the only way you'll know it's there is when I tell you that I'll come out on YouTube and I'll say there's a new broadcast up at bittersweetrecords.net. And if you want to subscribe to that broadcast, you want to become a part of the email subscription base of that broadcast, there'll be a way for you to do that. And that's the way I'm going to handle that kind of information. Okay? So, as a result of several months, actually a year, of watching the big advertising campaign about things flying around and getting people sick and yada, yada, yada. All this garbage. I sat in absolute amazement at the amount of brainwashing that was going on. Everybody sees it. Everybody who's got their head on straight sees it. I happen to know that the corporate community is pressuring employees to do things that they otherwise might not have done, which is taking a shot to prevent them from catching something. Well, I'm sorry. But everybody sees it for what it is. It's a power grab. And I don't know if the power grab is going to succeed or not. There are broadcasters that think that they're taking on the quote-unquote, here's one of the phrases in their inventory, the globalists. I am absolutely appalled that they reduce the conversation to such inane stupidity or dumbed down terminology. I can't listen to it. I turn it off inside of, I don't know, I can, in order to get the gist of the broadcast, I'll look at some content for about 15 seconds, then I'm gone. Okay? It's astounding. It's astounding what has happened to the broadcast universe. There is no concise news reporting of the investigative nature that needs to be conducted in this country. And even the so-called alternative, which is the guy over there in Austin, Texas, even he's not that good at what he's doing. He's got a cognitive dissonance that's... I monitor him because he is influencing people. I don't think he's necessarily influencing them in a really bad way, but by the same token, he makes some leaps in his discussions that are, quite frankly, a leap I won't take. All right, that's enough for that segment. As you notice, I like to smoke cigarettes during my broadcasts. It helps me think. It's just something I do. Okay. In the meantime, so to reiterate, when content that YouTube would ban is going to be broadcast by me, I will just put an advertisement on YouTube that you can go to bittersweetrecords.net to see the content. That's the only thing I'm going to use when it's that kind of content. When YouTube, I know, will ban the content, that's when I will send it over to bittersweetrecords.net and host it over there. And if you're interested in that content, you can go see it. I'll tell you what the content is about, and that's it. And that's how we're going to get around the politics of YouTube. YouTube, since one of the last broadcasts that I put on earlier in the year, somehow, I got another 1,000 subscribers. So there's about 1,800. It peaked at 1980, and I lost 100 since then. I really don't care. I can monetize this broadcast on YouTube. I choose not to. If you see an advertisement, it's not from me. I don't make any money on it, and I don't care. I don't need their money. As a matter of fact, their money is dirty. And my integrity at this point won't allow it. I don't need their dirty money. So that's what I have to say about that. I have found a new broadcasting platform that I'm recording this on. I am burning it in. I am looking to be able to go live on the air. And I said I was going to go live on the air. I've been paying for a specific phone number now for a year. And I haven't worked it out yet. My life is what it is. I can only learn the techniques necessary in order to put together a professional product as fast as I can take it. So that's why I have not gone with a live broadcast yet where I'm taking questions on the air. I've talked to my cohort over at the White Hats Report. He is not coming on the air, and the reason that he is not coming on the air is, as we've had in a conversation, he's not going to help people be stupid either. And the environment is so toxic that he doesn't want to jeopardize what he's done and what is in his YouTube channel. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I think that's a fair way of representing my conversation with him. I'm thinking about bringing him and Harmon Taylor on in a discussion at some time in the future. I don't know when I'm going to make that possible. I'm still learning this interface. It's a good one. I'm using something called OBS Studio. Anybody could use it, but if you don't know how to make it work, it's fairly robust. And if you're interested in broadcasting, I recommend that you get OBS Studio. So anyways, that's about all I have for right now. I don't know necessarily that I'm going to upload the broadcast that I had been taken down by YouTube. I don't know that it's necessary. I gave you the cogent information at the beginning of this broadcast. There are 3,000 individuals, according to Pachinik, working behind the scenes, and that Trump has got his own White House down there at Mar-a-Lago, and that's what's going on, and they're draining the swamp, something that Mr. Pachinik calls a political lavage. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We've heard this all before. And then this other stuff with QAnon and Austin Steinbart, we'll see. We'll see. There's no way for us to know the facts. I have no way of getting to the facts right now. I can't pay probably $10,000 to $20,000 to do an investigative piece on this. I don't have the cash for that. And I don't know necessarily that I would solicit the audience to give me the cash to do that investigation, because I couldn't guarantee any results for the money. So my integrity won't allow it. Anyways, that's what I've got to say right now. We, to reiterate, are under a regime. This regime is not going to stop. There is no vote that can be trusted in this country. That's it. You just saw it. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows now. But it's nothing new. This has been going on since the beginning of the country. And if we're all going to be stuck in this paradigm where we're playing Republicans and Democrats, Democrats and Republicans, you can't get a handle on governing yourself. It's not going to happen. And it seems that if you're an American, the only thing left that is even remotely looking like it might be American is the Republican Party. And we have idiots that are in key positions in the Republican Party. So until they can get rid of those people, don't think Washington's going to change. It's amazing. In my life, I have never seen anything that looks like this, ever. And the last two generations of kids in this country are just, they have no reference point. And somehow or another, as an aside, somehow or another, I don't know who first made this fashion statement amongst the men in this country. But since when do brown shoes go with a black or dark blue suit? I mean, what it's, you talk about no class. I mean, honest to God. This latest generation wears brown shoes with a black suit or a dark blue suit. Are you kidding me? Anyways. It's absolutely nuts. So I think I've said everything I want to say in this broadcast. I don't know how long it is. For those of you who are looking for entertainment, you're on the wrong channel. And all you political morons out there, you're on the wrong channel. Anyways, that's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for tuning us in and listening to another Goldwater Report. I'll be back soon enough now that I'm burning in this new kind of interface and making some adjustments to this studio at my own expense. That's about it. Good luck. That is all.